Good morning. Welcome to United States Sports Academy and our weekly sports talk program. Today with me is Dr. Fred Cromartie, our Director of Doctoral Studies, Dr. Brett Simmermacher, our Chair of Sports Coaching, and Dr. Brandon Spradley, our Chair of Sports Management. I'm Steve Butler. I'll be your host today. And today we're going to talk about something that's pretty popular here in the state of Alabama, college football.
Not at all.
Not at all. And, they say there's 4 seasons in Alabama. There's football season, there's spring football season, there's recruiting season.
And football.
And football season. Anyway, one of the first question I'd like to ask you guys is, I think everybody, we've talked about it off the record and stuff here, but everybody in this building, everybody on television seems to think that this coming weekend is the best first weekend ever in college football with the games that are being played. So let me start with you, Brandon. Which game this weekend are you looking forward to the most?
We know the answer to that question. Well, obviously, being that I'm a graduate from the University of Alabama, I'm really looking to see how Alabama does against USC. But I'm also looking to see the Clemson and Auburn matchup as well. I think that's a big matchup that's really going to see where the teams
Don't
are
go
at.
too far out on a limb there.
As far as what?
You stated state. Come on now.
Well,
There's bigger games than that.
He asked me my opinion. Those are the 2 games that I'm really looking forward to. But obviously, being a graduate from Alabama, that's the one I'm looking out for.
Nick's got it down to 2 quarterbacks now. Did you see the thing where Marty Smith and Tim Tebow went to his lake house?
Mhm.
That was really pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Which game are you looking most forward to, Dr. Simmermacher?
Probably Alabama, USC. There's several good ones. Florida State, Ole Miss. That's going to be a good one in Orlando. The thing about it is we're going to get to see where everybody is early in the season. There's a lot of good games early in the season.
Well, don't discount Notre Dame either, but remember that game takes place at 6 o'clock in the morning U.S. time because they're playing over in Ireland again. But I still think that listening to a whole bunch of the people talk, and it boils down to conference play and all that good stuff and everything, where a lot of the people are saying that the SEC might only wind up being 3-5 this weekend. So it's going to be quite interesting there. I think LSU and Wisconsin is going to be a heck of a game. Going to be a really, really good game to watch.
The really cool thing about that game is they're playing in Lambeau.
They're playing in Lambeau. That's right. Yeah.
Which technically is a neutral site,
Right.
But I'm going to guess that
Yeah, they're going to have a home field advantage.
Wisconsin there. I've been to Lambeau Field a couple of times. It's a pretty neat place.
Yeah, it is.
This might come as a surprise, but I think the game, obviously Auburn and Alabama, but the game I'm really looking forward to is Houston and Oklahoma. Because if you remember last year, Houston thumped Florida State in the bowl game, and a lot of people think Florida State #1 this year, and almost everybody has them in their top 4. But Houston put a hurt on Florida State, and they have a quarterback coming back who had just under 3,911 yards of total offense last year and 38 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And this could be Houston's introduction into the Big 12.
Well, see, if Houston does win, that really changes the complexion on the rest of the season, how it plays out in terms of generating and boiling down to 4 teams.
Yeah. Houston also plays Louisville.
Yes, they do.
This season, and a lot of people are picking Louisville as a dark horse in the ACC. So think about this: if Houston goes 12-0 with wins over the Big 12 champion and the ACC champion, how do you keep them out of the Final Four?
I don't think you can.
You can. Yeah. But see, again, our prognostications are early on. Don't really mean much because we all know that the teams that are looked at favorably at the beginning of the year normally don't turn out that way. So, but let's just hope this year might be a little bit different because very few people had Clemson in the race last year. They knew they were going to be a good team, but they didn't think that they were going to be as good as they were. They are the real deal again this year. They do have some concerns, like all the rest of the teams do. But the fact of the matter is that they're one step ahead of everybody else where they have a proven a proven quarterback. And right now, you know, a lot of people are saying that he's at the head of the class in terms of Heisman votes, you know, and look at right now. So
I think he got a head start on the Heisman last year in the championship game, because even though Alabama won, I think anybody who looks at that realistically thinks that Deshaun Watson was the best player on the field.
oh yeah,
Including the last year's Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah, he had a great game. And you know, one of the other games we got this week. You mentioned Texas Notre Dame. There's one more really big game. I can't remember which one. I can't remember who it is. Anyway, one of the things that do you guys know when the last preseason AP #1 team to win the national championship was? This is bad news for Alabama.
I'd have to. It was Auburn.
No, it was 2000.
Oh, they weren't picked then and won it.
It was 2000. It was 2004 USC.
Okay.
That was the year. That was the year Auburn went 13-0 and didn't play in the championship game because USC and Oklahoma started season 1 and 2 and they both went undefeated. And Auburn ended up number 3. Auburn actually ended up number 2 because USC crushed Oklahoma in the bowl game, in the championship game, and Auburn jumped from 3 to 2. Another thing that raises hope for Auburn fans is the last time Auburn was not ranked in the preseason top 25. You remember what happened then?
They won the national championship.
No, they lost to Florida State in the championship game. But
well, they weren't ranked the year with Cam Newton and won it.
Well, I said the last time they were not rated. Cam Newton was a special kind of. Gene Chizik.
You think?
Gene Chizik owes his everything about his reputation to Mr. Cam.
And he actually won our coaching award. Gene Chizik that year.
Yeah, he sure did.
You know, I know Dr. Cromartie just came back from Clemson, giving the award to Dabo Swinney.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this last year at the end of the season. One of the most impressive things, in my opinion, we are a university above all. I heard this stat on the radio. There's been 108 players at Clemson that stayed for 4 years. 103 of them graduated. That's pretty impressive since Dabo's been there from an educational perspective. I know I told you guys this, but when we had the ice storm and we were closed for those 3.5 days a couple years ago, I went to the Wenzels in Fairhope, and Dabo and his entire staff were sitting at the table right next to us. And you kind of try not to be too obvious as you're listening to him. My friend got to meet him last week, but he seemed like a super nice guy. Just the way he related to his staff. They were here, of course, for the Senior Bowl. Okay, those of us at the Sports Academy who care about college football, we have our own poll. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of similarities between this poll and the AP poll, and probably when the coaches poll comes out, there'll be a lot of similarities there as well. But we like to think our poll is the best. We had
plenty of analytics go in to figure that out.
Yeah, like I could probably tell you who the 6 people who picked Alabama. I could probably tell you. I'm pretty sure this guy sitting right next to me is one of the 2 first place votes for Ohio State.
It would be
correct. And Sandy Garinger was probably the other one. But everybody has their favorites. I try to be nonpartisan, and I really picked Alabama 11th because not because I don't like Alabama, because I think they're going to lose 3 games this year. But our top 4. Well, we'll go with 4 because that's the playoff system. Our top 4 is Clemson 1, Alabama 2, Ohio State 3, and Oklahoma 4. And I think all the prognosticators on television and the radio are a lot of them when they talk about Oklahoma are saying they're the safest bet to win their conference
until week 3.
Yeah, when they play Ohio State. Yeah, that's gonna be a big one. You think about Florida State. Florida State plays Ole Miss the first game of the season, and Florida the last game of the season.
Yeah.
So say they lose 24-21 to Clemson and don't lose any other games, and go 11-1 with wins over 2 good SEC teams. They could be still in the top 4 as well. I think if Clemson's 1 and Florida State's 4, I don't think the committee would ever admit this, but I think they'll move Florida State to 3 because they don't want Clemson and Florida State to play in the semifinals. Same thing with Alabama, LSU.
Right.
Yeah. That of course they'd never admit that. We got a new chairman of the committee this year. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's from the Big 12. I know that. So maybe they'll get a team in this year. we had Florida State.
Well, they added that championship game. So.
We had Florida State 5, LSU 6. Each of those teams got 1 first place vote. I think I was the one that put Florida State number 1. And then down at number 14, we had Georgia with 1 first place vote. We just got paid today. I wonder my paycheck now. Dr. Ramsey.
That would be my guess.
Like we said, no favoritism in our poll. Dr. Ramsey's a UGA grad and a huge fan. So interesting. When we went through this poll, we have Houston at 15. The AP also had Houston at 15. But of course, they could jump way up this year.
We don't have Wisconsin on here at all.
We don't.
Nope.
No, we don't.
Well, they're not
They got
projected to be.
Well, they got some mentions.
Right.
They could be a dark horse.
They're in that other.
This week will tell a lot.
This week will tell an awful lot.
They got a new coach.
New coach.
There's a lot of
and
uncertainty there.
Yeah. The other thing too is where's Arkansas?
Who has Wisconsin's old coach.
Exactly.
Obviously we're an SEC country and there's if you look at everybody's preseason polls and the strengths of schedule and all those things, there is a chance that 2 SEC teams could end up in the Final Four with Alabama and LSU. And a lot of people are picking Tennessee.
Yeah.
In fact, Kirk Herbstreit today, when he gave his Final Four, he predicted that Tennessee would beat Alabama in Knoxville during the regular season, but then Alabama would come back and beat Tennessee in the championship game and go to his Final Four were Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Florida State, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Kirk is going to go against Ohio State?
No,
Come
he's like this guy.
Yeah.
Well, he graduated.
Home cooking.
Well, we did lose 12 people and 10 in the first 3 rounds. So
12 in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Most ever in the first 4 rounds. And they
just reload.
But it's like they interviewed Urban Meyer last night. He says we have the best set. We have a great center coming back, the best center in the country, and a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He said the only reason we'll be able to survive with all this youth is the fact that we have a great center and a great quarterback.
I think Ohio State's one of those teams. They get better as the season goes on.
If he can keep his athletes out of trouble.
Yeah, and he should.
Keep him out of trouble.
Urban Meyer's a good coach, and he should.
Well, yeah, he's a good coach, but you can't say that the coach from Notre Dame is not a good coach, but that's going to have a significant impact. They had to sit down a couple of kids. They had to kick a kid off, and that kid that kicked off was a starter.
Yeah.
That's going to have an impact. And programs that are going to be in the mix at the end of the year are going to have to minimize the collateral damage throughout the season. Now, you can't do anything against injuries, no question about it. But those kids that are not injured, that are contributing members of the team, you got to tell them, you got to keep your noses clean.
Yeah.
You got to stay clean.
I heard an interview with Nick Saban on the radio last year during recruiting season. He said the one thing you can never tell about a kid when you go visit their house or when you have them on campus, the one thing you can never tell is how they will act when mom's not there.
Or dad, yeah. How you going to act when your parents aren't there? But see, that goes back to, the kind of upbringing that you get from mom and dad. You have an understanding about peer pressure when you get away. You don't step too far out of the realm.
You spoke about Arkansas earlier. Speaking of that, if you love college football, you need to go see the movie Greater.
Oh yeah, it's about that kid, Bullsworth or Burlsworth. Okay, yeah.
And that was his motto. And the University of Arkansas football program had that motto. It's not what you do when somebody's watching.
Yeah.
What's his name? Houston Nutt, when he took over his senior year, he made that the team motto and it's stuck at the University of Arkansas. with him being named the #1 best walk-on ever in college football.
Yeah, I saw the interview with the guy that portrayed him in the movie, and that guy is from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and he was. I mean, the interview, they were asking him questions about playing the role, and they were referring back to all the damage that was taking place in Baton Rouge at that time because of the floods and the heavy rains, and he lost his home, his mother lost her home, uncles lost their, and he was involved in rescuing them and going through, and he said, playing the role and dealing with what that young man went through, it took a heavy toll on him. So yeah, that's interesting.
There was a story on the local news last night. 21,000 vehicles people lost in that Baton Rouge area. They showed a State Farm guy. They had this huge lot, just car after car after car, and they were going through. Some of them, the guy said, this one we can fix for very low money and sell it. And some of them have just the range of the damage from one to the next was phenomenal. And I'm glad you guys mentioned those. We really want to send our thoughts and prayers to those folks in Baton Rouge who are recovering from that terrible flooding over there. We had our annual picnic on the 20th, and we were able to fill up the back of a van with stuff that folks donated from here. And Holly McClellan took it to South Alabama on her way home, and she said at University of South Alabama they had an 18-wheeler and 4 rental trucks full of stuff to take over there. So athletes are stepping, and she said all the athletes, she didn't have to get out of the car. She just pulled in. They
and if you go on their website, it shows them taking it to ULL, Lafayette, dropping stuff off there.
And they have a big
game this weekend too. Yeah, exactly.
That program has really grown over the past couple of years under the leadership of Coach Joey Jones, and them playing somebody like Mississippi State and the SEC school. I mean, that's really a big game for them. I'm not sure how they're gonna fare against them, but just the opportunity.
Well, let's look at it this way: the point spread has come down over the course of the week. It started out at 39, then it went down to 31, and as of today, it's 29, and they're saying it could go down even more. Joey Jones, the head coach of South Alabama, came up and played under Bear Bryant, hard-nosed guy, and he's going to do the same thing with his team. He had them prepared last year, and they played, even though they got beat handily last year. But the simple fact of the matter is that for about a quarter and a half of the game, they were in it. Yeah. And it makes all the difference when you've got a sideline full of people and the other side has got a handful of people that can be replaced. You get worn out. Now, let's just hope this year they don't wear down as fast.
Yeah. We it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. When I worked at Troy University, I was part of the global campus, and I was at the site in Augusta, Georgia. When Troy University beat Oklahoma State on a Friday night ESPN game, we had a spike in enrollments. And it's one of those things, we in our contemporary issues of sports class, one of our units is on how society and sports are intermixed, and how sports depends on society, and at the same time society depends on sports. But we're getting close to our time limit now, so one more thing. Each of the 4 of us is going to go on record right now as picking our final 4 teams. You don't have to pick a champion. Just tell me, Brandon, who's going to be in your final 4.
My final 4 will be, of course, the University of Alabama. I'm going to pick Clemson. I'm going to go with Florida State and LSU. I'm going to pick 2 teams from the SEC West.
Wow. So you're going to leave out 3 of the Power 5. He's going to leave out 3 of the Power 5 conferences. He's going to leave out the Big 12, the Big 10, and the Pac-12.
He's a track star.
Yeah. So if they do that, they'll most likely mix it so that Alabama doesn't play LSU and Clemson doesn't play Florida State. That'll be interesting. Brett?
I'm going to go Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, and then the sleeper is Stanford.
Stanford. Dan Shaw.
That guy does a great job.
He does.
And the other biggest game I'm looking forward to, since I'm a graduate of UWF, is their program starting up this weekend.
Yeah, Ave Maria down in Florida.
Right.
Ave Maria.
That's the name of the song. I admit I grew up in Florida.
They're a powerhouse.
I have no idea where that school is, but they have a football team.
Wow.
And, University of West Florida, it's another thing we talk about in some of our classes on economics and stuff, does bringing in a football program help your school economically? Does it help you with enrollments? All those
I've
things?
been to both schools, the University of South Alabama and the University of West Florida, and their campuses have changed dramatically since 1985, 86, through down to 1981 when I attended.
You're an old guy.
I'm old, yes, but older.
I know.
But
That's what I'm saying.
it does change
Oh,
it does change the entire complexion of
I
it.
agree with South Alabama because my track team used to go out and run on their track a couple of times back in the early 2000s, and I really saw the change with new recreation center now, and just the amount of growth that they had over those years, especially with the addition of the football team. So,
Well, we saw what happened at UAB when they tried to take football away.
Oh, yeah.
And they decided to go back to football too late for this season, so they're not playing this year, but they're playing next year. And the kid from Spanish Fort, Tyler Johnston, who was
Mhm.
Mr. Football in the state of Alabama last year, is enrolled at UAB, and so this will be a redshirt year for him. But he hasn't lost a game since 5th grade. I think that's probably going to change next year when
He's the quarterback.
UAB comes back on the football.
You never know.
Dr. Cromartie, give me your final four.
Well, I'm going with Dabo. There's no question about it. Clemson. I got to go with Alabama too. But I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Michigan State. And for my last one, I like Houston. I like Houston.
You like him.
I think Houston. I think Houston would be a great story.
I know I can. You won't like them when they replace Ohio State.
No.
My final four is, I'm pretty much chalk here, but it's Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Florida State. I picked Florida State. I think I picked them in that order in my poll, but when I turned my poll in, I had the caveat that if Clemson's 1 and Florida State's 4, or the other way around, they'll fix it so they don't play each other. So, well, we're on record now, so we'll come back in about 4 months and see.
we'll see.
I like your pick though.
We can be on record. It don't mean nothing.
Michigan State, did they go to the finals last year?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
they got beat.
That's a good pick.
Pretty handily.
They didn't belong there.
But that's a good pick for this year.
Anyway,
Why would they have to?
as we said at the very beginning,
That's
perhaps a lot of people seem to think this is the best first week of college football that anybody's ever seen, with all the big games. Of course, around here it's all about Auburn, Clemson, and Alabama and USC. And of course, we won't talk about it here. But if you want to look up something interesting, look up the time when USC and Alabama played in the early 70s and
Yeah.
see the impact that had on Alabama college football. Coach Bear Bryant realized that they need to make some changes in the recruiting practices. Anyway, that's our show for today. We hope everybody enjoys the football games this weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time here from the United States Sports Academy and War Eagle.
Go Buckeye!
Roll Tide.
Have a safe Labor Day weekend.
Are you gonna throw anybody out there just a Labor Day weekend?
Labor Day weekend.